do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da-day.
Well, I'm sure you're saying, oh, no, not him again. But yeah, I'm back. What else have I got to do on a Thursday night? But I am blessed with the presence of Aunt Donna. And we have Thesis in the chat. And I don't know how we're going to follow Stupid O'Clock because that was basically 90 minutes of me talking
Oh
when
no,
I
we had
should
a
have
good
just.
history lesson too.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did indeed. Yes, when I shut up and let the history lesson go on. Um, I really don't. I've got to learn. I've got to learn to just let Joe Dog and John talk and me just not say anything.
But they
Cause
were just sitting there. Why shouldn't you be talking?
well, that was the reason I was talking because they were just sitting there. Um, although John did do his usual map quest routine. Uh, which is always it's always fun. It's always educational, and yes, there were history lessons there, and Joe Bachman was there talking about
His bridges.
bridges and construction and the things that can uh, cause road highway construction to age badly, which is really I had never known that before, but it's certainly a point of view that I highly value. And it's not
And that
anything I'd
was
ever
interesting
considered.
too.
Yeah, it was. It was. But without more of the usual suspects, um,
Quiet night tonight.
yeah, quiet is the best way to describe it. But hey, the
After last night's birthday party, what do you expect?
we we wore Dawn out. She can't even be here tonight. She's already crashed. Uncle Carl's already crashed. Those two facts are not interconnected. I'll tell you that right now.
They're not?
Um,
Are you sure?
no.
I mean, you only have Dawn's word that she's still in Peoria.
I only have your word that Carl's still in the house. Whatever you tell me, I will believe.
Well,
And
what makes you think Dawn isn't in the house? Oh, was it?
well,
Good.
your connection is too good to be in a motel somewhere. Uh, uh, but and besides that, it's none of my business either way, is it? Um, Consenting adults will consentingly adult. Um, I have no right to
Hmm.
observe, comment upon, or critique anything that's going on. I think I generalized that one pretty well, but then
Pretty well,
again,
yeah. Yeah.
it's been a long day, and as soon as Lindsay found out about the car, I said, "Bring me a beer," and she did, which I never. It's one of the things that I always swore I would not do. Hey,
Hey, Pop.
Pops, how you doing? Yeah, I when I was a kid, I watched my dad ask my mom to cook something or make a sandwich or whatever, and I'm going, I am never going to turn my wife into a servant. That is just not the done thing, Dad. And that was back in the '60s when it was the done thing. Now,
Hmm.
it grated on my nerves, and but there were times when I will say, "Baby, if you're not busy, would you please go to the fridge and bring me a beer?" That's it. I'm not going to say,
Hmm.
"Fix me a sandwich, woman," because I would expect
Well,
the
uh,
frying pan upside the head right about then, and deserve it. Um,
it's whoever's going downstairs.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because your kitchen is downstairs. Uh, our house is all on one level, no stairs unless you're going outside. Now that's got some stairs, um, not many, and not steep, but
Hmm. The back stairs are steep because they're the servant stairs. The
yeah,
front steps for the family are nice and wide and evenly
shallow.
spaced, kind of shallow. There's
Yeah,
two landings.
so the old folks can rest on the way up into the mansion.
Yeah.
Um, mm, Now, where I grew up, houses were usually built on a hillside. So part of the house would be right there. You could walk out, and there might only be one step from the porch to the ground, and stroll up to the road.
Hmm.
You go around to the back of the house. There's these rickety old steps that have been standing since the Great Depression, and they look like it. Uh,
We have a few of
oh,
those around
Rich
here.
is Rich is still awake. Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
Rich!
Yeah. Sandwich or a pot pie. Yeah. Uh, there's a frying pan in your future too, boy. You
I'm
just keep
surprised.
that up. When she no longer thinks it's funny,
You
you're
know,
gonna look like Joe Dog when his Donna walks in the room and goes bap upside his head. Um,
well, she won't be able to reach him like that, but I'll bet she's got a hell of a throw.
I would excuse me, that was rather stout there. Um, I wouldn't put it past Misty to have her own stepladder. Just go, I'm going to get that boy and walk up with the stepladder and the frying pan, one in each hand, and silently ninja her way up to go
Boom.
smack. Yeah, what is in range will bring you to her level. Um, as long as you don't wind up in the range. Um, okay. Um, Hansel and Gretel,
I
I'm
don't think
reminded of.
he'll fit.
Depends on whether or not she's got a chainsaw.
That's true. That's true.
Uh, I, I, I do not watch Unsolved Mysteries for nothing. Uh,
I can't believe how many people do dismember the people they've killed.
uh, yeah. Um,
That's a job.
yes. And it leaves evidence too. It's very hard to conceal something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was the TV series? Uh, Dexter.
Never watched
Had-
it.
I never watched it either, but I've seen commercials for it. Evidently, it was a serial killer that preyed on serial killers, and he had a special room that was lined with uh, disposable plastic for blood spatter evidence not to be collected
Mm-hmm.
on the walls. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, yep, bright idea, kid, but you know, the curtain rings around the entire room would probably be a dead giveaway, if I may use that term. Um, I know, but I wasn't trying to pun there. Um,
You've
mm,
only been at it, what, 20 some years. Rich, you'll convince her sooner or later.
yeah, um, there's something about the generation we were born into, and it's more prominent with Aunt Donna and I because we are a
Mm-mm.
little bit senior to Richie, but you know,
No.
you just don't do this uh, sitcom sort of uh, relationship anymore. It's more egalitarian, more equalitarian.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, my mom put her husband first, even before the kids, unlike a lot of women. Husband came first. We never thought about it because my father had a heart condition.
hmm
Even though he worked hard as a farmer and later in his other job, but as for me, oh no no no, Aunt Donna was brought up that everybody else waits on her.
So that's why Carl's trained so well. Uh,
Yeah, my two older brothers spoiled me rotten. It was really hard to find a man that lived up to it, but I finally did.
hey, um, Lindsay is fond of saying, you know, over in England, there's a saying that a woman always marries the guy that reminds her the most of her father. And I'm just going, do I look that much like an Anglican preacher to you? Um,
No, Carl is
no.
nothing like my father.
Well, as I said, it's a cultural thing.
Hmm.
Uh,
It usually happens.
oh yeah. I would,
A lot of men marry women similar to their mother.
and that's the thing. Lindsay's nothing like my mom. Um, I mean, kind and gentle and supportive and capable of doing astounding things, yes, but that's about where the similarity ends. Um, as far as the outlook on the world and um upbringing and whatnot, no, it just no. Uh, Thesis, you know me too well. uh,
Yep.
uh, although it's not the co-eds that I flirt with, it's the co-eds moms. Uh, yeah, um, that was meant to be raised well. Yes, but Rich, there still is this cultural divide between generations. You are what 20 years younger than Donna and I, 30 years younger than Donna and
He's in
I
his
don't even remember
mid
anymore.
40s, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you so
At least, yeah.
one generation at least. Um and I've got to admit I was raised with a lot of Victorian Edwardian era, 1800s to 1910s era sort of mentality. 51? No, no, you're not going to be 51. I forbid it, Richie. You're not going to be 51. You'll be
You missed his
51 maybe.
longer his longer comment before the meant to be well
Uh
raised.
okay. This is the one I think he was referring to. Often a woman is looking for the best provider and father type figure, so they feel they were raised how they feel is right will look for a man like their father. Boy, did my sister screw up.
And yeah, he meant to say we're raised well.
um, and my sister looked for somebody who's just as stubborn and ornery as she is, and she got him. And she's been complaining about it ever since. But hey, uh, they've been together. Oh my God. Um, almost 40 years.
Mm.
And neither one of them has wound up on Unsolved Mysteries yet.
Yet.
Yet. Um, and now that they have my niece, they probably never will because my sister's not stupid, and neither is her husband. But you know,
So don't look for him in the real Georgia murders, huh?
nah, nah. Basically, no matter what your problems are with our generation, once you bring a kid into the world, you go, okay, just got serious. You get the basement, I get the TV in the living room. Okay, enough said. And you just live your lives with a certain degree of buffering. So whatever,
Well, I know
everybody does what they're going to do.
I know one thing you never say to a woman. That's not how my mom does it. My first fiance made the mistake of telling me that. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever committed that grave a mistake because I'm still breathing.
Well, I kept my head and I said, number two, we are not of the same generation. And that's going to make a difference. And number one, we are not of the same culture because my first fiance was Greek and his parents were from the old country. Like, you cannot expect me to do things and think the way that your mother does. And if you do, there's the door. Needless to say, that relationship didn't last much longer after that.
I once had an Arabic guy show up and try and sell me insurance related to my um, credit card that I got through the union at work. And he just could not wrap his head around the concept of, yeah, well, you know, um, women actually rule the world, whether you want to admit it or not.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, Richie.
Hello. Figured I'd stop in for a couple seconds. Considering we actually just had similar conversations in the house um, just this past weekend.
Wow.
Richie, you do not look anywhere near 51. You don't even look 31. Except for
Ah,
the gray in your hair and your beard.
yeah, I'll be 51 April 22nd.
Jeez. They grow up so fast. I mean,
And
you buy them books, you send them to school, and they turn around and, hey, I'm half a century old now. And I go, dude, you're not allowed. No, no.
it really irks Misty. But yeah, it's in 1973. But we're having a similar conversation this weekend about people finding mates that are very similar to their parents, and the reason being is a normative couple is looking to raise children, and you want to raise children with someone who you think is going to raise your children right. If you felt you were raised right, you're looking for people who raised you.
Well,
Kind
yeah,
of a scenario.
that is the only thing, but that is comparative between my mom and Lindsay is Lindsay is just one of those people who just she lives to take care of people.
And that's kind of the thing with Misty. And then it's the funny thing is, both of my sisters, when they first escaped the house and ran away and I'm going to be free and I'm going to live my life my way, blah 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 blah. They married individuals that were the exact opposite of my father, and they paid for it.
Yeah,
My
not
eldest
well.
sister, her second husband, almost exactly like my dad, and it went very very well.
I've got to flash this up. Thesis will be 44 just before Hallowcon this year. Once again, you do not look like you're in your 40s, Thesis. I mean, seriously, you look like you're in your 20s.
When I was
And
16, people thought I was 23. When I was in my 30s, people thought I was 23. Apparently, I stayed 23 for a while.
that can be both a curse and a blessing. It really can.
If I chose to actually color my hair, and if I shaved completely, I would probably pass for probably late 20s, early 30s.
Probably.
And
According to
Misty hates that.
according to some of the ladies that have been commenting on my appearance, if I actually went my brother's route and uh, bought stock in Grecian formula or whatever, I could probably pass for almost 30. But then I think you know the the lack of bullshit in my attitude would probably give me away.
um,
Yeah, my lack of fucks given usually betrays me as being older than I appear.
Yeah, there's this maturity that comes with experience, and it doesn't have to happen with age. You can have those experiences at a very young age
hmm
and wind up with no more fucks left to give. And it, I mean, uh, but then again, on the other hand, it does make you safer from some of the predators in life because you can see them coming a mile away.
Yeah,
maybe. Um, you know how when the guy who gets caught with the underage girls, but she was 21 and nobody believes him. I would always go, that could be because when I was 12, I looked 21. I was 5'6". I was fully formed.
a young man that used to be good friends with my son, and then tried to date my middle daughter for a little bit, and ended up being one of her recent ex's best friends. He is actually a registered offender because he was dating an 18-year-old and he was well into his 20s.
hmm
Sorry, he was dating a 17-year-old and he was well into his 20s because 18 wouldn't matter. Um, but the thing is, he met her tending bar at her uncle's bar. You're
Sounds
gonna
like
you
he
you're gonna
didn't
ask your
have any
bartender.
reason.
How old
Yeah,
she is?
Yeah, yeah.
if it's a bartender, you're going to assume they're above the age of consent
You're
to
going to
have
assume
the
that they're
job.
21 in like in Indiana. You're going to assume they're 21 because you've got to be at least 21 to go into a bar.
hmm
So that's how he got nailed with that.
Mm,
That's
uh,
that's really not right, in my opinion.
well,
There, that's a little better.
as long as he didn't make it a hobby, um, a life
No,
choice.
he's practically married now. He's I I still think there was a little bit more going on with him and his best friend and his girlfriend and what they wanted to try to bring my daughter into than what was being said. I
Mm,
think there was some attempted swinging going on that
yeah.
my daughter wasn't really aware of, and yeah, I think there was some mind fuckery going on there. But yeah, that's
Ye-
just me.
well, polyamory never works without consent.
Exactly.
Polyamory is not swinging.
No, it's not. It's not. And neither are a bunch of other things. But uh, informed consent is the most important thing in almost any relationship, no matter how young or old you are.
Well, any
Uh,
relationship doesn't
Yeah,
really work without proper consent on so many different levels. I mean,
an open communication. Yes.
yes.
Love you, baby.
We love her too.
Hi,
And says
Misty.
they love you too. Donna says hi. The camera that I'm using couldn't see you. You're fine. She just ran across the door of it.
We saw kind of like a flash, but
A
that's
fleeting
okay.
glimpse.
Not the kind of flash I get.
Yeah, but
That's
you're
okay.
lucky.
Yes,
We get
yes, I
to
am.
meet her at Hallowcon, don't we?
Yes, actually, and that was one of the things I wanted to come on and actually say
Oh,
is
good.
her boss has approved her time off for Hallowcon.
Yay!
Yes,
Tell her how excited we are
definitely.
to meet her. We are really
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
But be sure and tell her I'm not as think as she drunk I am.
He's, he's stinker.
Definitely.
You think
Uh,
he's drunk now? Where do you see Hallowcon?
oh Lord. But then again, I
I don't
can
want to see
stand
my
up and
liver
walk
after
around
Halloween. Well,
without tripping too often.
I, I take that back. My liver's not going to want to see me after Halloween. I want a divorce. You have abused me.
No. We'll let you taste stuff, but we're not going to purposely
Now, if he wants
pickle
to,
your liver.
he's a grown boy of 23. He can if he wants to.
When I'm in the right company, usually read the wrong company.
That's
um,
us.
Hmm.
exactly. And that's actually, my family too. A lot of times, um, it's I'll be like, I could have swore I had a 12-pack of beer. Why is all the beer gone? I only started drinking an hour ago. Oh, sorry, hour and a half ago. Why is all my beer gone? Why is the ground against my cheek? Yeah.
And then he'll be
Uh,
doing the making text like the famous text from a couple of years ago.
I wish I had a screenshot of that. Um, I know Chris.
Uncle
I
Carl
know Chris
does.
does. Um,
Was this a
Uncle
Joe Dog
Carl
or a Carl
does.
thing?
It was just a Joe Dog thing.
The dog.
Uh,
This was before he had to quit. This is probably why he had to quit drinking.
Was this the wheelbarrow?
that this was the wheelbarrow weekend. Yes, indeed. Every time that Chris managed to get Joe Dog into his room, he'd walk back to the con suite, and Joe Dog could beat him back into the con suite. Was at the bar again. Um, and Uncle Carl and I were just sitting there going, you know, Aunt Donna can still take your ass.
Even after all the moonshine.
But you guys will be able to
Um,
meet Crow. You'll be able to meet Misty, and
uh,
Dan will finally get to meet me face to face.
and actually, um,
Well, if we put him up on a step stool face to face, but okay.
Oh, he's only 5 inches shorter than I am. He's the same height as my
I'm
best friend.
I'm 5'11"
Yep.
Yeah,
when I'm actually able to stand.
stand up.
Uh,
Oh yeah, you're the same
Oh,
height as me.
that hurt.
Afternoon standing is optional.
And it's always afternoon somewhere.
Now, one person I recommend you make friends with at Hallowcon
Megan.
is Megan,
Megan.
the cook. Believe me, she's not only fun, but she will take extra special care of you if you make her laugh. Um,
She's been in the green room a
she's
few
a
times.
yes, she has. Yes, she has. She's a very fun person to be around. I
I'm going to
enjoy
behave
her
there.
company immensely, and uh, have yet to be bold enough to make any inappropriate comments in her direction, but uh, two bottles of Statesman in, all bets are off. Oh heavens! Ah,
Yeah, she's been on Stupid O'Clock, and I think she was on here before, even though she doesn't have her camera on when she does.
Yeah.
mm,
And then
Yeah,
she's
that's
been
right.
in the green room a few times.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's
in
she's
the
the former law enforcement officer.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed, I think she prefers to be in the green room because she's shy. She doesn't want to be on camera, just like Lindsay doesn't want to be on
And
camera.
she can fully cut loose. That was so cool. I finally got to see Lindsay yesterday.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't she awesome? I mean, just for a few minutes, and she just wandered in and go, "Hey," and go, "Camera, gotta go." Um,
I might be able to get Misty into a green room at some point in time. Um,
oh,
she might not have her camera on, but I finally got her Discord fixed over on her computer.
Cool. She doesn't need her camera on. We've got people come in without the camera.
And
yeah.
that's what I told her.
Curie almost never turns his camera on, so you know it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that. I've told Lindsay she could come in and never turn her camera on, but shyness is one of those things that
Well,
uh, uh
congratulations, Bladed. Or thesis.
oh thesis oh wow yeah um half your
Rock
life
on.
really I would have had to met Lindsay in my 30s for that to be true, but for me, but
Yeah, hon?
Tell them good night. I love them all, and I hope they have a good night.
And they can't wait to meet you at Hallowcon, honey. I told them the good news, and they perked up so much. And the way my camera's pointed, it can't really see in the hall, honey. I love you. Good night. Did you hear what she said?
Mm-hmm.
yep.
All right. I figured
And
since the mic is actually on this camera in front of me right here, so.
yeah, and that's why you mount a second camera in the doorway to look up and down the hallway, so you can see when she's sneaking up on you with the frying pan. Um, I keep trying to tell Joe Dog this, but he won't listen. He's suicidal that way. Uh,
Yes, yes.
Long as it's not a vacuum cleaner, we're good.
oh, thesis, yes. Um, that's I have that kind of memory myself. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, but you and Foxy are really obviously made for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't say anything more respectful than that. Y'all are definitely made for each other. Enjoy it, relish in it, make the most of it. Seriously, it's well, it's uh, there are people who have been through so much and come out the other side and they're still whole,
Mm-hmm.
not gravely damaged, but might be carrying a few scars, and that's something to celebrate. I mean, seriously, uh, go for it. I mean, keep going. Don't stop now. Um,
Yeah, it's always great when you can find someone that completes you. Just I hate to sound hokey and Jerry Maguire it all up, but it really does make a lot of sense and mean a lot right there. It's Misty and I met. It'll be 21 years on December 5th of this year. We are coming up on the 20-year anniversary of our first date. Right about now is when we started talking to each other to figure out, did we want to start trying to date and all that happiness. May 1st is the 20th anniversary of our first date, and the 20th anniversary of our first date. I don't know if I mixed my numbers up there. And December 29th of this year will be our 20th anniversary.
That was a long engagement compared to mine.
I proposed to her on her birthday, which was November 6th of that year. I wanted to wait for about a year to clear up a bunch of my debt. She decided that our wedding date was going to be her grandmother's anniversary. And at that point in time, we weren't sure her grandmother was going to make it another year. So she wanted to get married right away so that her grandmother could see us get married on her anniversary. So I'm like, all right. It was somewhere around probably July when I woke up one morning and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to spend another day away from this woman. Let's go ahead and proceed with the plans. Then her grandmother decided to live for another 5 or 6 years. Because we had
there's no rule against being early.
We had Crow when about 3 years into our marriage, and then Crow was about 2, maybe 3, or almost 3 when Miss Sue's grandmother passed away.
I do believe it was I don't just believe, I know for a fact, it was the first evening that Lindsay and I were together in the flesh rather than online, that we went out into the yard under the stars. Thank heavens it was a very clear night. We could see all the stars for a billion light years, and we proclaimed our love to one another in the sight of God and everybody. Whatever pantheon happened to be looking down at that time. Yeah. It was a very pagan sort of thing, but it's more like, we're meant to be together. We've been put together by powers stronger than ourselves, no matter what you recognize as a deity or whatever. And I am your husband, you are my wife. I'm your wife, you are my husband. And then we had to go and get paperwork about 6 months later for tax reasons.
You see what Lisa said?
Yeah.
I met Carl the Saturday before Labor Day weekend. He was hitting on my best friend. And I looked around to see her going. So I walked over, got in a conversation. She abandoned me. And we talked until the sun came up.
You took one for the team, and you've been taking it ever since.
Ever since, yes. Didn't see him Labor Day weekend because his father was up from Texas that weekend. Went out on our first date the Wednesday after Labor Day. Saw Dirty Dancing, by the way. That was
Which
that's
going to a
October.
movie is on the list of things you should never do on a first date, but
Yeah,
everybody seems to do.
that
So
was
is going to a
September.
family thing. So is going to Red Lobster.
He moved in with me in October. We went on our honeymoon the first week of November because I worked for a forest and couldn't get the weekend after Thanksgiving off. And we got married the Saturday after Thanksgiving, 3 months later. That's been 37 years ago. And
you
I said it was,
gladly threw yourself under that particular bus.
and I
Misty and
said,
I
I mean, they
postponed
said
our
it never
honeymoon and used Gen Con for our honeymoon.
lasts.
Uh,
We spent the week with my folks in Florida in a little tiny single wide trailer. And I told him, if you can spend the week with my father in this trailer, you can live forever with me because I'm a lot like my father.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law were also going to Gen Con. They decided to take my son, and we're going to have my son stay with them. No, something happened at the last minute. My son couldn't stay with them. My son piggybacked on my honeymoon.
when Lindsay and I finally went down to the county courthouse to get married, um, we did not know what was going to happen immediately afterwards, but Dad filled in for her father, who was over in England, and gave the bride away. We had the justice of the peace say all the right words in all the right order. We walked out of there, and apparently we technically eloped, but my mother drove, and we 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 wound up at uh, my mom's side of the family reunion, and her mom was like 98 years old, 97 maybe, and uh, my aunt Mary took Lindsay into Granny Griffith's kitchen, which some women have been married into the family for 10 or so years before they ever get invited in. No, Aunt Mary goes, "You come with me," and handed her a huge knife and a head of lettuce and goes, "You're going to make the coleslaw for the family reunion dinner." And my wife is going, I'm not used to Appalachian culture. What does this mean? Um,
So did you see the rest of Thesis' story?
yes, I did. Yes, I did. I've been waiting for all of us to come to
The end. Hey, Mike
well, I
Jimmy.
mean, um proposed to Foxy on her birthday too. Also got her brother and her mom down to visit, and she's still pissed at me because her mom was able to keep a secret for 3 months.
She should be pissed at her
Uh,
mom.
almost everyone at the party knew what was going to happen. Sent out a friend to pick up the cake and the ring that morning, and then had her mom keep her out of the house until the party. Um, uh, she didn't see the ring, and when he handed her the piece of cake with a ring in it, she almost dropped it. Um, this kind of happens, but oh, and also Mike Jimmy is with us.
Morning, Mike
Um,
Jimmy.
yeah, Mike Jimmy, if you don't have a link, let me know, and I will send you one. I know it's coffee time for you,
For
but
Misty, um, I got her a ring for an after the fact, something that she could show off to people to say I'm engaged. What I actually used as a engagement gift were replicas of Drit's Jordan swords, Twinkle and Icing Death,
That's so
licensed
cute.
reproductions.
That is so cute.
Almost 6 in the morning. Woo. Yeah, ours was so fast, and my my ring was specially made because I wanted a blue turquoise, and had it all paid for, and thought we had the wedding ring to go with it, and went to the jeweler, which I had many things made there special myself. And they said, "Oh, you hadn't put any money down for the wedding ring, which was going to be just a simple silver band, a white gold band." So when we got married, he put my mother's wedding ring on my finger instead of mine. And we canceled that wedding ring, which was good because later on I saw blue topaz ring that went, "Oh, can that one be my wedding ring?"
Mm-hmm.
Misty loves blue topaz. Actually, blue topaz is the stone that is on Misty's engagement ring that she got so she can show up. Because you can't really just wave swords willy-nilly. I got engaged!
You
Yeah.
can, but people are going to step way back.
So, my bad.
Mhm.
I have to have that on
Yeah.
it.
Because
Or-
you've been losing weight.
When I talk, it will fly. And I have lucked out so many times that every time this has gone missing off my finger, I've been able to find it. This is still my original. And when I talk to Misty about getting, new wedding bands or anything like that, she gets so mad at me.
Yeah. I can believe. Lindsay once found the wedding ring that I had from my first wife, and she said, why is it cut?" And I go, well, in one of the arguments that she started, she actually broke my finger, and I had to take a pair of wire cutters and cut the ring off of my finger. And she goes, "Well, we can always have that repaired." And I go, "No, we will never have that thing repaired because the ceremony of cutting the ring off my finger is very empowering to me."
Mhm.
And I'm going, I finally got away from the psychopath and reclaimed my life. And yes, the ring is precious because I actually did love the woman, but she turned out to be unworthy of that love. And I'm old fashioned enough to go, didn't work, doesn't mean it won't work again. And second wife would agreed to live with me forever until death do us part, but would not marry me. So we were only common law, did not have any rings in common. Lindsay came along, and I'm going, if I don't get this right, I am not trying again. 19 years later, she still hasn't knifed me in my sleep. So I'm probably not as annoying as I think I should be, but I'm still trying. Um, yes, and Donna can tell you, yes, I'm really annoying at times, although I can be very sweet at times as well.
We can all be
Uh,
annoying at times.
I was going to
well,
say that's human nature.
yeah, that's part of relationships. Um,
Some of us excel at it.
some of us use Excel to avoid it. Um,
Oh God.
word. Uh,
One might say that there's power in that point.
yeah, well, that's just my outlook.
Oh.
I know. If anybody's ever going to murder me, it's probably going to be for my puns, not because
We
I'm
have way
annoying.
we have way too many access to these puns.
Uh, Lord. 365, yes, indeed. It's 24/7, folks. Uh,
Yeah.
oh, dear. Dear,
And
dear,
and
dear.
in this day and age, we get to be our own self publishers. What other MS products can I bring into this?
I don't know. I don't know. I think we milked this one just about as far as it can go, but I wouldn't put it past you to go a few further.
Right,
That,
Um,
we've taken this to the utmost exchange. Um,
after
I don't
over
know.
20 years, we know how to push each other's buttons. I bet that's fun. Um, we fight and you argue, but at the end of the day, still love each other. Yes, that's how you know it's working. You can aggravate each other to no end, and then you turn around and you go, I do not want to live without this other person in my life.
have you guys seen the movie Fireproof with Kirk Cameron?
Mm-mm.
But not
He
that I can recall.
plays a firefighter. He goes to this thing called the Love Dare to try to he and his wife, who's a doctor, are no, yeah, no, his wife's a doctor, and they're starting to kind of drift apart, and there's a lot of issues and stuff like that, and Kirk Cameron's character's father gives him a book called The Love Dare, and then it's a Bible guided way to put love back in your heart for your partner, kind of a deal. So way back when we first saw that movie, some of the issues we were having, I was thinking of buying that book and trying to step through that and trying to be a better husband to Missy and stuff like that. Earlier this week, I get an email. Your copy of The Love Dare has shipped. I'm like, I haven't looked at that book in years. What the hell's going on? So I wake up the next morning. I'm like, Misty, are you trying to tell me I'm a shitty husband or something like that? She's like, no, that's for me because she feels that we're drifting apart because we have different interests.
Oh,
So
nothing could be further from the truth.
and
I mean,
yeah, so I'm like,
ugh.
okay, she's still later on in the week she's like, I can't believe you thought that was for you. I'm like, well, one, it was a joke. If you want us to work through that, I'll take a look at it. We'll see. We'll try. If it's not my cup of tea, I'm out on that thing. But if you think that we need something, we can talk. I have no interest in going away from her being my spouse. And I've told her, I'm like, first off, if we start having an issue, we're going to have a conversation. If that conversation doesn't work, we'll talk to a counselor. If that counselor doesn't work, we'll talk to a lawyer. Since we have not done any of those three steps, you are the only one I want to be with. I watched what my dad did when he had his affair and how that affected my mom, and I know how that affected me.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot do that to another person. If I feel that I don't have the love in my heart for my partner, we are going to dissolve the partnership before I even start looking for anything else. Because it's not fair to me, it's not fair to my kids, it's not fair to my wife, and it's not fair to whoever gets brought into all that fucking drama too.
Yeah, Lindsay's been screwed over so many times. I have to um, constantly reaffirm the fact that, hey, this is working. If there's anything wrong, we tell each other. We'll be able to talk it out. And if there's something that needs to be negotiated, we can do that too. But so far, it's just, I cannot stand to be without you.
Yeah,
And she has agreed the same. The obverse is true, and it's it's not that we don't ever want to spend a moment out of each other's presence. It's more the fact that we are comfortable enough to have diverse interests that do not overlap, and we can do things by ourselves that the other does not feel obligated to be part of, and still, at the end of the day, wind up sleeping side by side with the dog in the middle trying to keep us apart. That is the most jealous dog I have ever had. I mean, seriously. Uh, the dog cannot stand it when I reach out and try and touch Lindsay. Um, and the cat's going, dog, shut up, sit still. Um, I'm gonna go snuggle with him for a while, but I'm gonna come back and snuggle with her for the rest of the night. Can you just not settle? And I'm going, dog, listen to the cat. Um, it's a feral cat. It's got knowledge. Uh,
yeah. Mike Jimmy says that it's exactly the same for Lowe's and he.
yeah, yeah,
About the just um, really loving each other and just not wanting to be apart from each other. That's right when that comment came up, so I assume that's when that came in.
yeah.
And then Bladed Thesis's next comment after that comment from Mike Jimmy.
Been engaged 3 times. First one was physically and mentally abusive psycho.
I was
can
half-ass
relate.
engaged before Misty to a physically and mentally abusive psycho, but I have to owe it to that psycho because without that psycho, I wouldn't have decided I wanted to go to Debrecen, Hungary to get the hell away from said psycho. And that would
And
not have started the process where Misty
that would
revealed
not
that she
have
liked me.
yeah, that would not have triggered Misty into going, "Hey, I've been waiting on your ass." Um, and that's you'd be surprised how often that happens. Y- yeah. Um, Rearview mirror is a really good place to keep the um mm, not missed failed relationships.
Yeah.
There are failed relationships that you are allowed to miss because nothing was wrong, timing wasn't right,
Hmm.
personality wasn't right. Uh, there was
I'm
there was just one thing, maybe two things that go. We
yeah.
it's not going to work. Let's just um. I hate to use the the cliche. Let's just see other people. But once you figure out it's not gonna work, you can still stay friends. Uh, Now, once you figure out it's not going to work because the other one is a psycho, you don't want to stay friends. You want to get as far away as possible, which is why Hungary looks so good to Rich.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Now, I
it-
remain friends with my two first fiancés. In fact, we invited my first fiance to our wedding reception.
I'm um Lindsay has met several of the ladies that I dated in college, and you know didn't quite click.
Hmm.
I mean, it was intense for a little while, and then we realized, or they realized, I was not quite mature enough to continue on at this level. They backed away. I said, "I'll be miserable for a while." Hello, sweetie. Because that was the kind of kid I was back then. Um,
That's part of
and
being a kid, though. Well,
well, yeah,
at
but
least it was for
uh,
me.
me being a kid lasted entirely too damn long for my own satisfaction. I it lasted a little bit, about 20 years longer than I think it was necessary. Um, I matured slowly. Let's put it like that. And although I have fallen in love with several marvelous women who were generous enough to gift me with their time, I am the reason that it didn't work because I was not adult enough. And I acknowledge that, but you know, um, I'm 60 something now, so 60 something. I'm 66. Um,
Sorry, my camera had to freak out.
that's okay. You were upside down before I brought you back in the room. Uh,
Yeah,
Thought you were
because
pulling an Emily there for a minute. Oh,
no, the way
I,
this camera is, it
I'm
starts
head
flipping
over
upside
heels
down.
with joy about being married. Emily upside down. Um, we'll have to kid her about that next grammar she's in. We can't kid her about being married, but about being upside down. Uh, maybe we should start a GoFundMe to get her a Chromebook or something instead of her phone.
My ex psychopath, her or my nieces and nephews used to call her auntie. My sister Sheila forgot to take her out of her friends list after we broke up.
Ooh.
So she invited everyone in her friends list to one of my niece's graduation parties. And my niece is like, "Why is she here?" I'm like, "I didn't invite her. I'm with your actual aunt." So my cousin's wife is like, "Why the hell is that bitch here?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't invite her. I'm here with my actual wife." Um, but yeah, so she kept coming to family events.
Nighty night,
That
Jimmy.
that
Good
my
night.
take a left, bro. But that if my sister posted that the family was doing something at a specific place and stuff like that, she would show up. Now the thing
Yeah.
is, I'm still friends with her dad. Her dad and I were very much alike. Her dad was the police officer that used to be a homicide cop that I wasn't aware was standing behind me when she pissed me off one day. And I said, it's not murder if they can't find the body. And he leaned forward. He's like, "Pigs eat everything. I can take you where we can dispose the body." And she got so pissed. When we broke up, he asked my parents if we could switch kids. If my parents could take her, and if he could take me instead.
I know, but he's perfectly free to adopt you.
When we first started talking again after we broke up, he looked at me, because he would still make lasagna for me, because he knew lasagna is my favorite meal. So he would hand make a lasagna for me to come over and still eat with the family. He's like, if you ever get back to, with my daughter, I'm going to hit you in the head with a rock. You deserve so much better than her.
Hey, and what was the TV from the program from the 50s? Father knows best.
But I'm still friends with him. I'm still friends with her older brother. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic, and it's
yeah.
As soon as I started dating Misty, she got interested in me again.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized something. Of course. This goes back to children and the way that their parents were, and having that, the way that acts is, her mom and her dad were divorced, and the mom had an affair, and that's where her youngest brother was born from. The husband from that affair, things went south, and she ended up moving back with, my ex's bio dad, and then they ended up, he ended up adopting the son, the baby that was born, as his son. So they're all technically his children, even though one is biologically someone else's. He adopted him.
Well, that's the thing. Now, all of my children are stepchildren, so I understand this implicitly.
Yeah, so do I.
You take them into your heart. You do the best you can for them. You've raised them as best you can. They're as much yours as they are their biological parents, no matter whether those biological parents had anything to do with it besides giving them birth, or partially raising them, or tossing them out on the street to fend for themselves when they didn't face up to or meet with the biological parents' expectations or whatever. There's a whole level of cruelty in there that blends from you were unexpected to nah, I don't give a fuck about you whatsoever, way on down the scale, and there's all kinds of shades of gray in between. But
her mom and her dad still lived together, raising all the kids together. Her mom could date anyone she wanted. Her dad couldn't. So what it was the mom didn't want the dad, but she didn't want anyone else to want the dad either. And I realized when I started dating Misty, that's what my ex was starting to try to do to me. She didn't really want me back. She just didn't want anyone else to want me either.
Yeah, that's the I may be coining a term here. Monolithic sociopath. I hope that came out as understandable with the same concept that Rich was expressing there. But someone who doesn't want you, but doesn't want anybody else to be able to have you. Very possessive.
I don't want this toy anymore, but you know what? I don't want anyone else to have it either. But also, I don't want it in the garbage. I want it to sit here on the shelf, and I want it to sit there and want to be played with.
You became a collectible.
Misty just tell me I'm one of a kind.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
in the good way and the bad way.
Misty's already taken you out of the box and played with you, so you know.
No longer
Uh,
collectible.
oh, I imagine he's
Oh,
still
not the green room.
collectible. He's
Not the
he's
green
just
room.
he's just no longer worth a mint. Um,
No longer
No,
in mint condition.
screw it. Screw it. I'm going green room here. Misty prefers me in the box.
that's why I like Boxing Day so much. Uh, now, the thesis made this comment a little while ago. Uh, I wouldn't be the person I am today without said psycho, which is, I can relate to.
Same here. Yeah.
I wouldn't be me without having gone through that world of shit. And a really funny
They
thing is
taught me a
that,
lot of temperament.
yeah, she broke up with me and spent months pining for her because it was all I knew. Um, Psychos latch on, don't they? Yes, they do. And once he finally got away and she realized that she didn't have claws in me anymore, she suddenly wanted me back. That is a control issue. You
Mhm.
escaped her control and she didn't like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I became her best friend. I was her pseudo boyfriend. As she got back with a friend of mine that she saw before she and I got together. Um, and my going out with her was really strange, and I didn't expect it to happen in the least. I was at a game store about ready to run a game of werewolf. Go figure. Um, but about ready to start the game of werewolf, and my friend, one of my, not the friend who dated her, another one of her friends, was running the counter up front, and I heard him say, "You've got a body." I was in storyteller mode for the game, so I wasn't normal shy Richie. I was, let's
You
let's entertain people. I am here to entertain you. So I
you were
come running up
DM
front.
Richie. Yes.
So
Mhm.
I came running up front with a couple of other friends, and I'm like, a body worth calling a body? I got to check this out. And I didn't expect me asking her out to actually work. I thought she was cute, but I'm like, yeah, she's not going to say yes to going out with me or anything like that. But what the hell? It'll get her to smile. Aspen's Law number one at that point in time was beautiful women must smile at all times, which was correlated by Aspen's Law number two. All women are beautiful when they smile. Now it is all persons or all beautiful persons need to smile all the time, and all persons are beautiful when they smile. Yeah, went ahead and updated it a little bit. I can update my laws a little bit easier than Congress can.
Hmm.
But anyway, so I was doing it just to get her to smile, to laugh, whatever. I expected to get blown off, and I got a date. And I'm like, she is 7 years younger than me. What the hell did I just fucking do? Um,
You crossed the Mason Dixon line with that one there.
she was 18 at the time,
Hey,
so
I didn't say anything
yeah,
about the other line.
Yeah.
Um, you
and
just
yeah.
you just went all southern all of a sudden. Um,
Oh, what with my tone
no, no, with
or the
the
age
much
difference?
with the age difference. Yeah, it's like I I swore she said she was 14. Um, said the plantation owner to his wife. Uh,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that started that whole mess, and again, it like just like Lisa said, breaking up, I became the pseudo boyfriend for a while, and I realized what a mind fuck that was doing to me. And
yeah,
when
yeah.
a chance opened up to go to Hungary for work, I put in for it, didn't get it. Um, but yeah, I'm like 6 months out of the country, not having any contact with her in any way, shape, and or form. That will get me out of this. You know, hey, I'm almost healed. here she is again, wanting to do this, that, or the next thing, and almost falling into that pseudo boyfriend role because her boyfriend was working so much and was tired all the time, so her boyfriend couldn't take her out. So the boyfriend got all the benefits, and I got to pay for the dates.
But you announced it to your D&D group, and Misty said, "Come here, motherfucker."
Well, the way Misty said it was a lot more encoded than that.
Her own words, but
it was. I'm really a shy person, and I have ice walls, built up. But for the right person, those walls can melt, and it can be, fiery within. And I'm like, wait, huh? What did I just?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Mom, translate this from hot chick to stupid guy for me, will you? I could relate to that one very, very, very easily. Yeah.
I wonder if I still have that email.
You probably do, you retentive so-and-so.
Well, the question is...
I wouldn't have thrown it away. I would have only lost that due to a total computer crash with an unrecoverable hard drive.
I might not have that email address anymore, is what I'm saying. Because...
Oh, yeah. Here's a couple more comments from Thesis. We may have already covered this one. Psycho's latch on. Finally got away from her. Realized she didn't have her claws in him anymore. Suddenly wanted him back. No, she wanted the control back.
Mm-hmm.
And she would throw a fit and get physically violent if he was even in the presence of another girl. But for the last 6 months of their relationship, she was bankrolling her ex-boyfriend to come down and visit. And that is where a claymore comes in handy, son. A posthole digger and having a few acres of land to utilize at will.
We've got mountains out there in Utah. I mean, take her hiking.
And throw her off a fucking cliff. I didn't say that, did I?
I didn't hear anything. Introduce her to that murder kitty.
Oh,
look. Go petting.
Staple her feet in the middle of the damn raceway where they test the 700-mile-an-hour cars. Going to hit warp 6. Ooh, I hit somebody's girlfriend. Oh, I'm still going to hit warp 6.
Yeah, that was from a
windshield
old
wipers
email address.
Thing. Oh Lord. And I can safely joke about this with my ex-psychopath because she's in an urn. I had nothing to do with it. Natural causes.
You keep saying that.
Hey, the police said it first. I didn't even know about it till she'd already been incinerated.
Yeah, my ex-psychopath finally married the friend that she was dating before me, that she was dating after me. And they moved to Colorado. They got married. They came back, and I have no idea what the hell happened to them after that.
Well, that's the best attitude. I don't know what happened to them. I don't care what happened to them.
Well, I actually do care what happened to the friend, because I actually liked him.
Oh, that reminds me of one of my friends is going, my ex started dating one of my best friends, and they moved away, and I miss him. Oh my God, that was a classical moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
Not classic, but classical. There was almost Greek. Oh dear. Oh dear. Thesis, you really ought to be in here. Where, well, I know you're not Will, and you can't talk as
He's
comfortably as
still
you
in
can
his.
type.
He's
They're in a
still.
cheer competition.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
still in his
I mean,
cheer competition.
oh yeah, that's right. They're mm, brr. um, Daniel, think. Um, that'll be the day.
Which I have
Yeah.
to say, the amount of text that is going into the messages that he's sending out, if he's doing that all over a phone, he is a much more dedicated man than I. My messages would be like half that at the longest. I hate typing on a phone.
Yeah, I do too. My phone is for texting my wife or making phone calls, for God's sake, or taking pictures. Let's see. Broke up with him just before Christmas. Then they got the back and forth thing for a while before she moved to spend the summer with the other guy. Promised that it was temporary. Evidently, it wasn't temporary enough, and get back together again at the end of the summer. Enjoyed 3 months of true freedom, and when she got back, he was no longer under her spell anymore. Yes, growth does happen. Personal change does happen. Sometimes it happens at a glacial time frame, but you know, um, I knew a couple that were dating, but as another mutual friend of ours said, it's like watching glaciers have sex. Everything happens in geological time spans. You know?
I was kind of thinking that sometimes it's like chipping away at a glacier or an iceberg or what have you,
No, no,
and
no.
and 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 it
If
takes just the right hit at the right time to crack that off for you to get free.
I do believe they did hit at the right time and crack that off, but that's none of my business because it ain't nothing I was involved in. So, and believe me, there have been plenty of relationships I have been an actual participant in that I will not talk about because of other people's privacy, and I will not violate somebody else's privacy because they have a right to that, whether they still speak to me or not. Uh, and I will gladly shoulder the blame for that relationship not working out because basically at that time I was still an idiot. And no, Lindsay, I'm not an idiot now. Um, oh, well, mostly not an idiot now. Um, yeah, she didn't say that. I'm just imagining what she would have said because she has a wit. Um,
As I saw
uh,
in the Secret Humor group the other day.
oh, oh no, the woman's got her sense of humor is just incredible. And for this, Aunt Donna can back me up because she's actually met Lindsay at Hallowcon, and yeah, smart as a whip. She can. She's always been able to find the logical flaw in something that I've said and turn it around to smack me upside the head with the proverbial firing pan. And I love that. I really love that. Uh, this this is the kind of thing that keeps our imaginations flowing or conversations flowing. The wit and the witticisms that go back and forth. I mean, it's almost like a a a, a, a BBC rom com written by somebody that really knows what rom coms are supposed to be. But we strive for that basically without actually trying to. We just are that. Um, I don't know if that was grammatically correct. Somebody will probably email me and go, "No, you should have put an Oxford comma in there somewhere." And I'm going, "Not necessary in this particular phrase." But and no, Donna, that was not a dig at you.
I didn't
It's
say a thing.
no, it's because I tend to speak in extended Oxford commas. Uh, but that's my style of oration. Hey, Richie, no, not that kind of oration.
Why the stars are bright tonight.
Oh, it's not like she's gonna watch the damn show. Oh, and I've still got half an hour to go before I can end this torture. Oh Lord. Uh, one of these days I'm going to take myself seriously and I'll probably be an insufferable ass to everybody I know. Right now, I hope I'm a very sufferable ass to everyone I know. But aside from sufferable or insufferable, I think the postulate given is appropriate.
The what that we're given?
Postulate.
Okay.
I
What I
probably
heard.
didn't. I, I probably didn't spell it right when I said it, but I was talking. I wasn't spelling. Um, Good Lord, when editors get together, don't we get picky? Um, mm, mm. Um,
Yes.
Richie, did you recommend somebody else to look at the writer's prompts on Aphelion and submit a story? Because somebody did, and they mentioned somebody that told them that it was a good idea.
I spout it
And
everywhere I can. So it might have been me. It might have been Joe, because Joe mentioned it in a couple places too.
yeah.
Because I think he said his sister might have been working on something.
Ooh,
Yeah, he did.
okay. No. No. Nobody female or nobody with a female nom de plume has sent me anything yet, but there's one that's going to show up in next month's issue that is indeed a writer's prompt story, and I've been trying to make sure that I made a note. No, it's somebody named Randy Stewart, and I would have to go back and open up that email again to find out exactly who it was that recommended that they go there and mine that very fertile vein for um, nuggets of gold. And actually, it's a very good story. Um, it's not the one that I would have written from that story prompt, but all of them that have been written from the Writer's Challenge are not what I would have written, which is the beauty of having it there. Uh, these are either ideas that I could not figure out what to do with, or thought, hey, this is cool, but I'm busy. So here, handle it, whatever. Um, it's one of the things I'm most proud of about Aphelion is that I've got this thing on there. I hesitate to make it more than 42 because it is a beautiful number. So I might have to do another 42 as a writer's challenge page 3. But people will take these narrative hooks and they will invent an entire universe around them. And it's things that I go, oh, this would be a great opening line for a story, or this would be a great opening line for the second paragraph of a story, or the third. But somewhere on the first page that drags a reader in. That's the thing. When you can drag the reader in and go, I want to find out how this goes, how this ends. That's when you know you've got the gift. When you can write something that, even if it was suggested by somebody else, you can write something that has that power to compel the reader to continue. Because if you don't get them on the first page, that's it. They're not going to give you any more time. I mean, if you don't get them in the first paragraph, usually they're not
Yeah.
going to they're not going to plunk down money to see what the rest of it goes like. But I
Yes.
am so proud. I'm so proud that there've been so many people they've gone in so many different directions with this. It was just a sentence, 2 sentences maybe at the most, and they go, I can do something with that, and they do, and it's absolutely outstanding. It boggles my mind. I'm so proud of that. I mean, I couldn't. The only thing I'm prouder of is the existence of Aphelion itself. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this has been a success beyond my wildest dreams, and I have not ever tried to make a dime off of it, and I won't. As long as I'm alive, won't be any ads, won't be fees, won't be any. If you can't just click on it and read, I'm gonna be pissed. Um, no memberships, no nothing. It's not about making money for me. It's about gifting the world with new professional writers that are getting paid for their own work. That's what I want. That's what I want. I mean, the happiest emails I ever get and the saddest emails I ever get are the same ones. And they go, hey, I sold a story. I go, that's great. That's fantastic. And I sit there and I go, and that means you'll never send us anything ever again because you can get paid for your work now. Uh, but no, it's I'd much rather that everyone learns what they need to know and starts getting paid.
It's
It
that
doesn't.
they've left the nest and you're happy and sad because you're not going to have them anymore, but they've learned to be something on their own,
They've learned
and
to fly.
you helped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have had pro writers come back and go, "Hey, y'all are still here? I didn't think you'd still be." And I'm going, dude, um, how how stupid do you think I am? I'm going to give this up. Um, uh, then I have had pro writers go, "Oh wow, you published my first short story 20 years ago. I just sold my fifth book. Would you like to review it?" And I go,
Yeah.
I don't do reviews anymore, but if you want to send me an excerpt, I'll put it in as an excerpt, and people can go make up their own minds whether or not they want to read more.
Very true.
Um, one of these days,
One of these
I,
days,
I one of these days I will have shuffled off this mortal coil, and there will still be people sending me stories. And whoever my executor is going to go, motherfucker, why do I still keep getting stuff from Madagascar? Um, because there's a good writer in Madagascar, I would say. Um, oh, 97 countries we have reached. Somewhere in the vicinity of 30 million readers year after year after year. Usually only about 20,000 per year, but still collectively. And I'm going, we've outlived Omni Online.
Not me.
Hey, that's Donna's right. It ain't mine. Oh yeah, yeah. You see her flip her hair back like Dawn, um, getting ready to go. Hello, officer. What do you want? Go away, or I'll stick the cats on you. Um, hey, it'll work. Um,
if you know anything about angry cats, it certainly would.
oh Lord. Um, no, but appealing is not about me. Appealing, it's about all the writers and being able to help them learn and grow and turn pro. That's what it's there for. That's the only reason it's there for. The fact
Yeah.
that everybody else gets wonderful stuff to read every month is a side effect.
Those writers' challenges for those narrative hooks kept me sane for a good couple of spells when things weren't going the best. It allowed me to focus away from everything around me, get my mind out of something for a minute, and then come back and go, oh, it's because this is unplugged. Oh shit, life's working again. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. Um, always check the wiring. Um, I should make that a narrative hook. Always check the wiring. Usually, when stuff doesn't work, it's because you accidentally unplugged something, or your dog did, or your Gnorf, or whatever your pet is. Um, how do you spell Gnorf? Um, very badly, I suspect.
Yeah.
With 2 G's, 7 P's, and an X, they're all silent.
Yeah. Except the Gnorf keeps going, "Raggar," which means I can see the bottom of my food bowl, even though there's food around the outside edges. I want more. Um,
I was going to say, I thought that meant that my glass of Jack Daniels is empty. It needs a refill.
no, you don't make any noises about that. You just go get the damn bottle and refill it. I speak from experience.
If you're still mobile. I've known a few that the bar that
oh yeah, but they're having one long vowel movement. Arbly, yes. Uh, and I speak fluent Jack Daniels. I do live in the South. I've had to practice many more times than I want, but it has come in handy.
Yes.
And I would like to say,
Uh-oh.
if you're ever at Hallowcon and you see me at a table with friends, and all of a sudden I go, "Don't worry, within half an hour I'll wake up."
Maybe.
And I'll probably continue in mid sentence because I didn't know I was asleep. There's no need to get up and move to another table. You couldn't disturb me with an atom bomb if you tried. Once I go to
occasionally
sleep,
you'll get that in stream.
yeah. Once I go to sleep, I'm asleep. I mean, not even death dares to disturb my sleep. I'd have to wake up first, and then I'd give him an argument or her,
Unless
depending on
death
your
is
view.
in fishnets and high heels, then maybe you'll wake up without an argument.
You look like Tim Curry. Go away, go away, go away.
Oh, damn it, man.
I've seen that movie.
Just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Yeah. Sing Janet's theme from Shock Treatment. I'll be impressed then. He wasn't in that one. He
Little black
wasn't
dress?
in that one.
No, I know he
Little
wasn't.
black dress.
But
Yeah.
I'm like Janet's theme from. I mean, that'd probably be like Little Black Dress, or debilitated. Why is it always sooner or later? We end up bitching in the kitchen or crying in the bedroom all night.
Yep. I think little black dress and
I used to be able to sing, well, horribly off key, but I knew all the lyrics to all the songs from the movies. I knew Rocky by heart because we acted it out every Saturday.
yeah, I've seen it like oh God, over 100 times. And I've actually got the DVD. I have no excuse not to watch it every week, but you know,
The Rocky Horror Picture Show saved my parents' life.
all right, I ain't asking any questions here.
My parents went to a wedding. They had a car that was an old wood paneled white station wagon that had a load leveler in it.
I
That
knew I
load
should have changed that flat tire.
that load leveler would sometimes continue running long after the car was turned off. So my parents went to the wedding, they went out for breakfast afterwards, and then they came home. I was out at Rocky that night. Me and my group didn't go out for breakfast, otherwise my parents might not be with us. Well, my parents aren't with us anymore, but they might have ended a lot sooner than that.
Understood.
But yeah, I came home. I'm like, why is it really hot down here? And then I walked past the house because I smelled something funny to see if maybe someone was burning something somewhere, if I could see a fire on the lake or something. Got cool again, lost the smell. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? Walk back into the front, open the garage, and get hit with a wall of smoke and just see smoldering embers and flames licking throughout the garage.
Oh, shit.
Because the car also had an oil leak, and how my dad solved oil leaks back then is throw sawdust over it and sweep it up once every 3 weeks or so. Load leveler pump overheated, caught the oily sawdust on fire, caught the rest of the garage on fire. So I managed to run around and wake everybody up.
Yeah, that was somewhat similar to when the window fan that I used to have right over here tried to set our house on fire, and I woke up from a sound sleep because I heard glass hitting the floor, and I thought, oh my God, how did the poodle knock the wind chimes down? And then on the inside of the bedroom door, which was open, I saw flickering. I saw a flickering light, to quote Hotel California, and
there's a light over in the darkness of everybody's life. Sorry.
I jumped out of bed, teleported to the kitchen, teleported back to my office with the fire extinguisher, put the fire out while Lindsay was going, huh, what? And ran out on the porch with the telephone and the poodle going, hey, our house is on fire. We need to volunteer fire department. And they showed up and did an infrared scan of what was left of the fire after I had used my factory fire extinguisher training and my factory issued fire extinguisher as a safety gift to put out the fire. And it just turns out that the fellow in charge of the volunteer fire department that showed up was one of the football players at my high school when I was in the marching band. And his oldest boy was one of my friends at work. And, well, later on, but not at this time, because he's still too young. He goes, well, I'd offer you a job with the volunteer fire department because you did a really good job with that fire extinguisher, putting everything out. But I've got to tell you, we do have a couple of rules. One, you'll actually have to wear pants. Because I didn't bother to get dressed when I teleported. I just jumped out of the bed, starkers, and boom, boom, squirt the fire extinguisher. While Lindsay was still trying to get the dog out of the house and dial the phone. But I thought that was a really good. You're gonna have to actually wear pants. That was a good line right there. Because this guy and I did not know each other really in high school, but we knew of each other. It's not like I was famous or anything, but I was just this trumpet player in the band, in the marching band. He was famous football player, but he recognized the name and whatnot. But it's just gonna have to wear pants. Do you realize how much of a handicap that would be? Uh, hey, there's this guy in New York, the naked cowboy. He gets away with just wearing, tidy whities, and I'm going,
Mr. Hollifield, that is not the type of hose we're trying to put the fire out with.
It worked, didn't it? I don't drink all this beer for nothing. It's an emergency fire extinguisher.
I've gone to the Doug McKenzie School of Firefighting, eh?
As
long as you hosers.
As long as you don't laugh while you're trying to aim.
Yeah, really. As long as I don't have the headphones on when I'm trying to aim. Listening to everybody else in the green room go, aha, about whatever it is they're talking about at the time. We got like 3 minutes left. Glad I looked up. I hate to say it, folks, but our time is just about up. Donna, Richie, anything you want to clue in our virtual audience about?
My 5th book of the Hunter's Ridge has been to the vetted readers. There's been rewrites. It's now back in their hands, and she's saying it looks good. There aren't anything else wrong with it. So hopefully it'll be coming out in April.
That's excellent. Richie?
When I finally get time to get together with Carl and finally work out the ideology for and the graphics for the cover, Twisted Tales for Twisted Dreams. I think that's what I decided the first book in the Things That Go Bump in the Light series is going to be. Series of 6 short stories should be out sometime this year.
Yes, and you are also doing 3D printing of Nick Tockert's Big Stompy Robot figurines. Yes, these are excellent, folks.
They're adorable.
So these are the prototypes. Nick and I need to get together to make a much better one that I can get a much better scan off of. Luckily, Nick's only a couple hours, away, so it's not, that bad of a day trip on a Saturday or something like that to drop down, visit him, take care of that, and see where we can go from there. So yeah, I am working with him to try to mass produce some of his units. To help him prepare better for cons and stuff like that. I'm being pressed into making more of my chainmail for cons and stuff like that. Every once in a while, you'll catch me goofing around on my YouTube channel trying to figure out various weaves and stuff. This one has not kicked my ass yet, even though
yes,
I did rage quit the other day. I put it back to the state before I started adding that second row of petals. I will master that freaking weave and learn that triple flower here eventually. But you know, it's
people do need to know about that because that is a definite, highly difficult art form to master. And
yes,
I say this because I have attempted and will probably never master this art form. Um, but I know how difficult it is. Oh yes, those are absolutely beautiful. Um, and the colors for Dawn's cats are
yes.
works of art. I mean,
Um,
seriously.
and those are in this weave, which is called half Persian. So this is my cheater starter cane for that. Um, I make little fidget things so that people can go ahead and just have something in their pocket to fidget around and play with. I make little Thor's hammers and a bunch of other stuff. I got the pieces I need to start trying to learn how to make the owls, but for that I need to work on my half Persian because apparently it requires two different leans of the half Persian to make weird stuff like that to make these cute little owl sculptures and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I'm learning new weaves all the time. I'm mucking about with stuff, um, and then yeah, I do 3D print all sorts of little cool stuff that I find.
Yes,
This is
yes, those are
this is
those
a
are excellent too.
this is based off of a gargoyle that I bought in the mid 90s, early 90s. Can't find it anymore to buy versions of it. So I'm like, I'd really like to get a 3D scanner someday, and I'd like to go ahead and scan Mortimer. So the full size version of him is named Mortimer J. Sidney. And then also I need to scan his partner, which looks very much like this, but the wings are open and out, and his name is Cincinnati. But yeah, I engage in all sorts of weird, nerdy little projects and things. I write, I 3D scan and 3D print. I do chainmail. I sketch poorly. I'm a bunch of nerdy, weird trivia, and I read voraciously.
Which is not a bad thing in and of itself. So,
Time to say goodnight, Gracie.
yes, it is. I would just like to close with everybody, even loosely concerned with Stupid Clock and Last Man Standing, and even more so the Green Room, are extremely creative people that one should be proud to have their work gracing one's shelves, whether it is readable, visual, audible, or whatnot, and it ties right back into the ndcd.com. Joe Bachman
Or
has
IndieCD.org.
.org. Thank you for the correction. Joe Bachman has made a wonderful. I almost called it out of the usual Star Trek joke. I almost called it a suppository of knowledge, but no, it is a repository of talent for various things, which may on the surface look unrelated, but actually tie into the many and varied interests of all kinds of fandoms written,
all sorts of
visual,
fandoms and talents,
audio,
and
everything.
his work on that site and behind the code is a masterpiece in and of itself as well. Because again, he is creating the site out of the ether, out of how he feels things should go. So it's another form of really awesome creativity.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He is an artist with code as well as with wood burning. So, and plowing the town and inventing new energy drinks. Just thought I'd get that out there. You, the listening audience, make your own decisions on that one. But as it goes, it is. We're 5 minutes past the time when Uncle Carl is going to complain about the show running along.
When plowing the town, make sure you get consent.
That ties back to an earlier discussion. Now, Uncle Carl is not going to complain about us going 5 minutes over, but I have been known to go for 5 hours longer than what we should do. But usually that involves with somebody having to look at the top of my head for about 5 hours. So we'll just go ahead and end the show now before I fall asleep. Like I'm going to fall asleep before the fucking car is delivered so I can see the smile on my wife's face. So I may not sleep until Monday. No sleep till Hammersmith. If you know that album, you know the reference, you're cool. If not, you will be when you look it up. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, everybody.
No.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.
I'm tempted to just let the damn credits go on for about 5 hours, but think of this as your Ferris Bueller insane. Show's over. Good night. Go home, folks. And really, um, we're done here. See you in the green room tomorrow night. See you in Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing Saturday night. And if we don't, we will miss you because you are important to us. Every single one of you. You're all valuable. You're all creative in your own ways. And thank you for being part of the community. It's you're not unappreciated. You're not unrecognized. We value you and everything that you do. And now I'm sounding like Mr. Rogers, so I better go. Bye bye.